Very quickly before the video starts, I just want to say I am still going to be playing all the Hayami-chan games. I already played the first one and the second one, and I actually have the third one recorded and edited. It's ready to upload. That will be going up tomorrow. But I had to take a little intermission break between playing them all so I could talk about this Dead by Daylight and Five Nights at Freddy's collab. So I'm not going to hold you anymore. Get back to the video. Shoo, get on my face. Shoo. Hello. Today we are going to be talking more about the Dead by Daylight collaboration with Five Nights at Freddy's. I made a video not long ago showing you my reaction and talking a bit about the actual killer Springtrap. We got to see a little teaser for a little trailer of him. We got to see a couple of glimpses of the new map. And they just done another live stream which talks more about Springtrap, more about what he can do in-game, and showed some more cool cosmetics that they're going to be adding to the game. So, first of all, like last time, I'm going to show you my live reaction to everything, and then current me will show you, or talk to you, sorry, about what I think.
Okay, without further ado, let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, playing a Springtrap, and
Let's
bring
go,
out
finally,
my
damn.
friend Jay Guzzo, the killer's designer.
Jesus Christ. What happened to the volume? Either they've been hacked or this is supposed to happen. What is going on? Oh god, here we are.
Whoa! I
wonder what his weapon's gonna be. I think it might just be his hand.
Level way. Before we jump into the gameplay,
oh god,
why don't you tell us about how you started to approach the design of Springtrap?
Yeah, it was a really interesting one because obviously, if you know both games, gameplay-wise, they're pretty diametrically opposed. Five Nights at Freddy's is really about sitting still. You manage resources, particularly the battery, and try not to get killed. Whereas DBD is all about moving around, doing the gens. If you sit still, you're gonna get yourself
not
killed.
A good strategy.
It's not a great idea. So I had this idea of doing something that we'd never really tried before, where we focus Springtrap kind of as a grab-based killer.
Oh, look at him!
Grabs and DBD,
Holy shit!
They are inherently jump scares into themselves with.
So it's a knife.
It's right there.
That looks so cool. What?
Those opportunities.
There he is, right there.
Yeah, I thought they just use his hand as a weapon, but giving him a knife.
Doing a little bit of a grab.
To be fair, nice touch.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool as well. Look at that.
Yeah, and
look at the mouth inside his mouth. That's so cool.
Really cool. So Springtrap has two weapons. I get to finally announce. I know the community
Two
has
weapons?
been talking about it. So he has a large pizza knife as his main weapon, and a heavy fire axe as his power.
Oh, an axe as his
So
power.
let's talk about the axe.
Yeah, let's see the axe.
Use the axe. How's it different from projectiles that other characters in Dead by Daylight use?
Yeah, so it's a very unique. It's not going to play like any other projectile killer that you've tried before. We wanted to do something a little bit interesting with it. So
No!
if you hit a survivor with it, kind of gets lodged in their back while you're chasing.
Kind of have an axe lodged in your back.
Oh, this sounds so fun already.
So they can remove it manually, or they can do it quicker in co-op with another survivor.
Yeah, if someone else removes it for
As
them.
Springtrap, you can also retrieve it yourself. If you get in close, you can skip kind of the steps of downing the survivor and picking them up. You get in close to a survivor that has the axe embedded in them. You click the button, you grab the axe and the survivor at the same time. You get a cool little jump scare, and then you're carrying them on your shoulder.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so
Couple
cool.
little notes. One of them is while you have your projectile available, you move at 4.4 meters per second. There he is.
There's a little glimpse of some.
Look at that. Oh, look how cool he looks, man. What? Oh my god, that's such a cool shot.
Meaning that you have to recall the axe manually. It never comes back to you automatically unless you throw it out of the map because you can make a mistake. But yeah, as long as it's in the environment or in a survivor or whatever it is, you have to manually recall it.
Don't tell me you can
So
look
it
on
was really
cameras. There's no
important for
way.
us to give the killer and the survivor a really kind of interesting shared experience in that space, which allowed us to also lean into the jump scares. And some of the ways we came up with was to introduce a security office, which is part of any trial.
If survivors can look on cameras, that's just going to be the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It acts as kind of a transitionary space. So we have 7 doors that appear randomly around the map at chest spawns. And these can be used by survivors or killers to teleport around the map.
Oh, right. So it's like a teleporter pretty much. Cool.
There it is. And survivors can also use them for surveillance. So as a survivor, you interact with the door. It brings up the camera view You'll get the kind of iconic map view in the bottom right of all the
God, that's so
cameras.
cool.
On the bottom left, you'll see your battery power, which we'll talk about in a second. You can see what's going
Wow,
on in the other
this
doors. You
guy
can
is
switch
so
between
impressive.
doors.
He
If you
went
see
all out for this
something
chapter.
that if it looks safe on the other end, you press the button, your character goes into the security office, and then it's kind of like a hands-off, almost like a theme park experience where you see this first-person view going through the office,
Wow.
which is really cool.
Oh my god,
One
that's
thing
gonna be
you
so
mentioned,
fun.
again, just in case we have new folks playing, regardless of what map you're playing on, this functionality, the security room will be there as long as Springtrap is the killer.
All right, okay, cool. That's good then.
Yeah, exactly. And as a survivor, if you happen to see Springtrap through a camera, if you train your camera on him for a few seconds, he'll be revealed for a little bit for the whole survivor team.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. That's a good touch.
Yeah, so survivors share a universal battery. It's shared amongst all of them. It drains a little bit, kind of ticks down per second while you're using the cameras. We didn't want players to just be the man in the chair and just sitting there and telling all their friends. So it drains a little bit using the teleporter to move around the map. Takes off a big old chunk in one shot.
So I wonder
And
if
then you have to
more
kinda
than
manage
one
that battery
survivor
as it
can
goes.
use the cameras at the same
It
time.
on its own over time, but you have to kind of manage when and where you're using it. If the battery does run out, the security system, which is kind of the doors, the cameras, the office, goes into shutdown mode for 45 seconds.
Okay.
But Springtrap is not affected by the battery.
But what about disabling the doors?
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah. So to go back to the axe, if the killer hits either a camera or a door, the whole thing with their axe, that door and the camera becomes unavailable to survivors. They can't use it to teleport away. They can't teleport to that door.
Got it. But it's not permanent. The door can be used again after the axe has been retrieved.
Yeah.
Unless it's in shutdown, which means the survivors can't use it anyway.
Right. One of the coolest things about the chapter, in fact, is the map.
Yes,
Freddy
to be
Fazbear's
fair.
Pizza is now a new map.
Let's see more of it.
Within Dead
I wanna see more of
Daylight, for DBD fans, specifically in the Withered Isle realm. So what can you tell us about the map?
You'll see a lot of small references and stuff, but obviously we've recreated a lot of kind of the iconic areas from the game. But we're also letting you exit the pizzeria to explore the outside a little bit. Which is really cool. And we wanted to kind of add a little bit more.
That was
space
something
to
I was
the
cautious about on how much of the map would be the
but for
restaurant.
rooms, we've got
But I
the lobby,
suppose
we've got the
you
dining
can
hall,
go
of
inside and out the
course,
map, so
with the
it
full
makes no
animatronic
difference.
man on stage. It's very cool. And we have the arcade, which is it's all very kind of creepily decorated, like a birthday
Ooh,
party.
look at that. That looks
And,
looks
we
sick.
have areas like the
Look at those
kitchen
masks.
and
Holy
even
shit.
the mechanical room, which is cool. And
We can
Oh, yeah,
see
there
a
you
little
go,
glimpse
yeah.
right there too.
Yep.
yeah, so altogether, this should kind of feel like a
Bro,
I
it
mean, I
looks
guess a
so
formerly
it looks so
working sort of
sick.
Yes.
pizzeria. And of course, since it's Dead by Daylight, the entity's weird pustules and deformations are everywhere.
So first of all, we can start out with how I think Springtrap looks as a killer, just his base skin. We're not going to talk about his cosmetics yet. We'll get more into that later. I just want to talk about how I think he looks normally. So we've got a couple of images to look through here. First of all is this one where he has his main weapon, which is this kind of kitchen knife. And I think he looks so sick. He doesn't look exactly like the Five Nights at Freddy's games, but yet again, neither does Chucky in the game. Chucky doesn't look like how he does in the movies. He's got his own kind of Dead by Daylight freshness look of him, and that's what they've done with Springtrap here. They've also got this picture of him, which is, I would assume, highly inspired by this image of Springtrap you can find online. I think, again, it looks really cool, and I also pointed out how cool the mouth in Springtrap's mouth looks. I just think that's such a cool touch. And then you've got this image too, which just looks absolutely incredible. Like, this looks so sick. Now let's get more into what Springtrap can do as a killer, and also some other cool little tweaks they've made for when Springtrap is killer. For example, let's kick it off with cameras. Survivors can use cameras, which is a really cool thing, and there are also doors on the map where a survivor can go in one door and come out the other door. And Springtrap, why do I keep almost calling him Springtrap? And Springtrap can also do the exact same thing, which I think is also really cool. It reminds me of the alien in the game where he can go in his tunnels, and he can go to different tunnels, so he can go through this tunnel, go underground, and then come up through this tunnel. I think it's going to be really fun. They also talk about how Springtrap has an axe. That's his kind of ability where he can throw an axe at a survivor, and if he hits them, it will stick into their back, and either the survivor can try to get it out themselves, or a quicker way to get it out is by getting one of your teammates to get it out, or Springtrap can come and get it out himself, which apparently there's a little kind of thing when he does that, which I think is going to be really cool. And I also wonder if you can just use the axe by itself. Like, you don't have to throw it, you can just use it as a weapon, which I also think would be pretty cool, but if not, no complaints here. They also show some other screenshots from the map, like this one, which I think looks really cool. Obviously, you can just barely see a pallet on the right side, so this is obviously a loop that you can run around. And they also show this image where you can see masks. You can see Bonnie's mask, Freddy's mask, you can see an endoskeleton head, and you can see Chica's mask. And you can also see a little kind of tunnel that leads to the outside of the map, which I again thought was another really good thing that they added, how you can go from outside the map, inside the map, outside the map, inside the map. I think it's going to be fun. So I'm going to show you another clip that I recorded when I was watching it live. I almost missed this, so I've not got any of my lights or anything on during this clip, but it's basically them talking about more cosmetics that they're going to be giving Springtrap, along with the Matthew Lillard Yellow Bunny one that we saw in my last Five Nights at Freddy's X Dead by Daylight video, so let me show you that real quick. Okay, I just put the camera back on. I turned it off because I thought they were done with FNAF, and then I go on it for like a second, and they're talking more about FNAF, so we're just going to watch it. I think they're now talking about some more cosmetics, so yes, that's right. We already saw this one. That one looks so cool. But I think there might be more. I don't know. I've not even put my lights on.
We also have a glitch trap, a legendary outfit for Springtrap.
Oh my god, I almost missed it. Yeah, that one's... That's cool. It's not as good as the Matthew Lillard one, but it's cool.
Crucial role in the story.
Cool.
We also have two very rare outfits for Springtrap, which are both taken from Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery, the mobile AR game, which
never heard of it.
Clown Springtrap.
Ooh, that looks... That's goofy.
Now, Clown Springtrap.
That was cool. I'll probably buy them all. Okay, why not?
Like
they all look cool.
But we put our own twist on Toxic Springtrap to really make them our own. But that's not all. For the survivors out there who want to show their love for FNAF,
Survivor skins?
Freddy Fazbear's t-shirts available for all original survivors.
That's cool.
Individually or
that's cool.
Together at a discount.
That's gonna be great.
So here's the Matthew Lillard skin. Once again, we've already seen it, but this is just a kind of more freshened up, kind of professional picture, I guess you could say, taken of him. And it just, again, looks really cool. And I never realized how much that actually does look like Matthew Lillard. They're also giving him this from Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, which again is a cool skin. I don't think it's as good as the Matthew Lillard one, but I'm still going to buy it, as that's how cool it is. What did I say? That's how cool it... Oh, forget it. And apparently there's some sort of Dead by Daylight mobile game I had no idea about, but you can put different kind of skins on Five Nights at Freddy's characters or something like that. So they're adding some of them as well, like this one. I think this one is really cool. You know, they've made him a bit chunkier. I don't know why. But it's just a clown version. The one thing I really like about the skin is the teeth. You know, the teeth are all look really sharp and they're all kind of chipped and mangled up. I think that looks really cool. And they've also changed the weapon a little bit. You know, they've put some sharper edges on the weapon, on the knife, which, again, I think looks cool. And then they give him this one, which he's just purple and he's kind of melting a bit. And you can see his body kind of looks like brains. Once again, I don't know what this mobile game is, but the skins they've chose out of it to put into Dead by Daylight, I think was really smart. They both look like really cool skins. They're also going to be giving some survivors some Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria t-shirts, which I think is really cool. You know, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy is on there. I like these t-shirts in game. I've got one. I think I've got like a kind of blue one from the Murder Mill or whatever it's called, from the Casting of Frank Stone game, I think it was called. I use it now and again. I think it's really cool, and I'm definitely excited for this one as well. It looks cool. So there you go, that's some more of my thoughts on the Five Nights at Freddy's X Dead by Daylight collab. Like I already mentioned, the PTB is out, so you can go and test play as Springtrap in the new map. I don't do it because I just like to play him when he's done and play the map when it's done, and I just like it all to be complete pitch perfect before I start playing. So there you go, that's it. Bye bye.